So I came in today. You know, we were getting our show together. We were getting stories, what we were talking about, and you know, we were fishing around. And then big news hit the timeline that the George Floyd arrest footage was actually released. It was actually leaked.
Yes.
And it hit the timeline, and we watched it.
Yes.
And yeah, it doesn't look good.
Okay, so
I'm gonna say why it doesn't look good. The narrative we were given when we first saw the 8-minute clip, and then all the information that followed along with the protest, was that he was compliant. That these people beat him up in the patrol van, then kneeled on him for 8.5 minutes or 8 minutes, and then killed him.
Right.
That's what we saw. That's all the footage we got, and I'm not even talking about all the other extra stuff that goes on with that.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So the video I watched was 18 minutes, and it showed them pulling him out the car. Early in the video, the cop, it wasn't Chauvin, that was the main cop. Pulled a gun out of him very early, but still, if you watch George Floyd, he looked very erratic. He was talking. He was very panicky. He looked like he was having a panic attack. He looked like he was on drugs in the video. He looked like he was really like going through it.
Right.
And I'm watching the video, and he said he couldn't breathe. He wasn't even on the ground yet.
When he said he couldn't breathe.
When he said he couldn't breathe the first time. Okay. And then he even said he would lay on the ground when he actually was on the ground. He said, "I'll lay on the ground." Okay. So what I took from that was just that the right-wing media, these white people, they're going to flip and twist that video to fit their narrative. And like we said on the last show, law to us is right and wrong. Law to them is about protection, right? It protects them from the wickedness that they already do.
Right, absolutely.
So what's going to happen is that this video is going to be used.
Tamika, we're going to put that in the description if we can, the link to that video.
Yeah. So this video is going to be used as a way to get these cops off. Maybe not Chauvin, but the rest of those cops are going to walk. And maybe Chauvin, I don't even think, like, it's not looking good.
Okay, what I want to say, are you finished with that?
I'm done.
Is we are not here suggesting that man should have ever lost his life.
Yeah, hell no.
Because that doesn't verify or qualify for him losing his life in any shape, form, or fashion. Yeah. But I'm always up here asking you not to get emotional. This thing right here, this George Floyd situation sparked a revolution of unprecedented proportions. Yeah. All over the world, and it was sparked from this incident. But as the incident began to unfold, or at least what they were showing, because doctoring videos and all of that kind of stuff is very easy these days and times. But the fact that he was foaming from the mouth, he was talking erratic, he was high on fentanyl, meth, weed, and alcohol at the time. The person who conducted the autopsy is the same dude who did JFK's autopsy and Dr. King's autopsy, and we know there was some conspiracies evolving around that. Yes. Right? So with that being said, what was his motive, the autopsy guy, to just come out and call this murder in the midst of what was going on, knowing that it could quell, and we as black people are running on emotion, we're going to run with that. And the optics of what we saw, 8.5 minutes of him on the floor is all we needed to see. But you know me, I'm trying to explain to you from a jury's perspective. This ain't from our personal feelings about what should happen. They should all go to jail.
Yeah, that's because somebody's already mad in the chat. What I said was that they're going to use this video.
The right wing, of course. This is what they're going to do.
Use the video to get them off. That's what I said.
Absolutely. I heard you clearly.
I thought I said that.
I heard you clearly, but you got to go real slow. Yeah. Because the emotional trigger. See, this is an emotional trigger.
Real quick, because this what they're going to do in court is go, okay, he said he couldn't breathe prior to them getting on his knees.
So you can't say them kneeling on him forced him not to be able to breathe.
They're going to say...
Because he said he couldn't breathe before that.
They're going to say he looked erratic in the video. He might have been having a high panic attack.
Absolutely.
He kept saying he was claustrophobic.
Right.
They said he said he couldn't breathe. He was standing up when he said he couldn't breathe.
Right. So...
They're going to use all of that and get them off. We saw it happen.
We see it happen.
With Eric Garner. They said
all the
he
time.
was overweight. that could the headlock. We all saw the headlock, but they said him being overweight caused a heart attack, which caused him to die.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. They're gonna use what we see here in this video.
Absolutely.
And that they held, they obviously had this video
for a long time. So why didn't they just see? This is what I don't understand. And for the person in the chat who, I understand these traumatic events can still trigger a relapse of emotion. So that's not what we up here saying. We trying to get you to understand what his peers are going to see. This is going to be a jury of his peers or their peers, and what their lawyer, whose only job is to make George Floyd look the worst he can possibly look. And you got to remember, it's not about the kneeling on the floor. It's going to be about everything before the kneeling on the floor, which is going to support the kneeling on the floor. You see what I'm saying? So it's a really weird situation on how they can twist things. Now, my thing is, why couldn't they just bring this information out from the beginning?
Right.
Y'all had the footage. So either y'all doctoring the footage or y'all wanted these reactions to take place because everybody just stepped back. The police, everybody just stepped back and let us burn down America.
Yeah.
Over something that could have been stopped by saying, let's arrest these 4 guys immediately and release the tape so we can see everything that happened, so cooler heads could prevail. Thank you, Free World Boss.
And C, thank you.
Thank you so much. So we are not up here saying George Floyd deserved that. That would be ridiculous. That man deserved to live. We just trying to get you to look through another lens, and the lens of the lawyer and right-wing America. Don't let Candace Owens get her hands on this.
You know what was crazy? Because even Candace Owens, there was a lot of people, Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro, always saying, oh, this was the most horrible thing I've ever watched. They're going to use this video and go, he was resisting.
Exactly.
He shouldn't have resisted.
Yes.
He was high. You get what I'm saying? They're
all the stuff, when you watch the whole 18-minute video, it don't look good.
Right.
From a jury standpoint, it don't look good. Don't just get caught into the 8.5 minutes that you saw him kneeling, because like we said, he said he couldn't breathe before they even put him on the floor.
Yeah.
And he even said, I will lay down. So what you're seeing now is the full video in its totality, and these right-wing magicians are going to twist this.
Yeah, if you go on the timeline, you'll see the discussions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You'll see it.
Right. And it's something that makes you just go, God damn.
Yeah.
Like, this is not just going to be cut and dry, and it never is. You saw what happened to, like we said,
Eric
Gardner, when you just watch the video, you go, this is an open and shut case. But then they looked at his weight. They looked at his heart problems. They looked at the energy, the adrenaline, his record.
They're going to bring up all of that.
They're going to bring it all up. So do not be surprised. That's all we're saying. Do not be surprised if they put a flip on this. You know what I mean?
Sadly.
You know
what I mean?
So we up here is just trying to prepare you for what we have always seen. Look what they did to goddamn Trayvon Martin.
Yeah.
They made Trayvon Martin seem like some goddamn thug. You know what I mean? And we know he was not a thug. So their job is to paint these narratives, and this video in its entirety does not look good on the surface. I'm just going to keep it a buck with you. You could be mad at me. I'm not in my emotions right now. I told you how I feel about that. The man should have never lost his life. Irregardless, they should have just called medical attention and find out how to quell. But we're talking about the police department, who never does things the way they're supposed to do anything.
And because, like I said, they have the law to protect them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if it has to, I'm telling you, we have... For us to get real justice, we need something like, it needs to be like damn near a perfect tragedy. Like, it's weird, you know what I mean? And I thought this was it. Right. When it first happened, I'm like, oh, he was on 8-minute video.
8.5 minutes this is cut and dry. This is an easy case. But when they show that back footage, and it was another couple of weird things. I thought he knew one of the officers.
That's okay. So
that was weird.
So remember, afterwards it came out that George Floyd and Chauvin knew each other. Within the video, the officer he was dealing with obviously didn't know him because he didn't call him by his first name. He asked him who his name was. George didn't seem like he knew him. And then even when Chauvin came over, it didn't seem like they knew each other. And when he was on his neck, I didn't hear any of the people that was.
Yeah, what about all of those people
the
in
people
the
that
background?
was recording?
So that's the kind of weird thing about this whole scenario. Like, is this something that they're doctoring up? So I have to throw that in the mix as well, because where was all them people bystanders who were sitting around complaining about get your foot off his neck? We didn't hear none of that and see none of that in the body cam. So all of this stuff has got me shaking my head. You know what I mean? If this is something doctored, something planned, and if it's something that they're going to bring out to trigger the next.
Yeah.
Because, again, we were all triggered by what we saw.
Hell yeah.
So now maybe this footage will trigger the next part of it, because it's all a part of a psyop in the grand scheme of things. You know what I mean? I don't care what nobody say. I know a psyop when I see one. But for what was presented, it's not going to be as cut and dry as all 4 of them officers is going to jail. And considering it was one officer's first day on the job, yes?
Oh, yeah, it was, yes.
Right, so, you know.
And one of them was like his 3rd time even,
Yeah, so all of this is going to play out real weird. So all we're doing here at Urban X is telling you how to be prepared.
Yeah, sadly.